Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Halo teman-teman, lagi sama saya Asma Insani Johar. Kemarin kita sudah membahas 3 episode tentang novel Shaila Abdullah Saffron Dreams. Yang pertama introduction, yang kedua teori sebagian 1 dan teori sebagian kedua, dan sekarang adalah video saya yang keempat atau episode yang keempat, fokus on discussion yang pertama, dan nanti besok yang terakhir, episode yang kelima, itu discussion yang kedua. Nah, untuk mengingatkan teman-teman kembali tentang presentasi saya ini, yang pertama saya sudah membahas Muslim Diaspora in Shaila Abdullah Saffron Dream. Nah, saya share dulu ya, pokoknya biar teman-teman ingat. Nah, ini dia share. Nah, ini yang pertama adalah Muslim Diaspora in Shaila Abdullah Saffron Dreams, and yang kita membahas introduction, kita membahas Shaila Abdullah, kita juga bahas some intrinsic element in the novel. Dan episode yang kedua kita sudah membahas tentang beberapa teori yang bisa kita pakai untuk investigate Muslim Diaspora in Shaila Abdullah Saffron Dreams. Di antaranya ini jadi dua, karena panjang ada beberapa teori yang kita bahas, maka dibagi dua. Jadi part 3 dan part 4 tentang teoris. Nah, sekarang kita akan bahas discussionnya Muslim Diaspora in Shaila Abdullah Saffron Dreams, part 3 discussion 1. Nah, nanti yang terakhir adalah discussion 2. Nah, discussion, kenapa saya sebut discussion? Saya berharap sih saya hanya memberikan ide atau gambaran sinopsis tentang si novel ini. Nah, kalau teman-teman sudah dapat wawasan tentang novel ini, saya berharap teman-teman investigate more by in order to find the meaning of this discussion, atau findingnya teman-teman yang nerusin. Kalau dalam presentasi ini saya agak-agak rada deskriptif atau discussion untuk memberikan ide wawasan sinopsis kepada teman-teman tentang apa sih novel ini gitu. Pertama saya akan membahas gimana sih depiction di novel itu ya, pertama the struggle of Muslim diaspora living in the US. Struggle itu dilihat karena beberapa physical attacks yang experienced by the protagonist or Arisa, conducted by US American extremists waktu dia hamil, di attack ya sama American extremists, dan akhirnya anaknya waktu melahirkan anaknya Ryan itu mengalami nama charge condition or multiple birth defect. Terus juga ada beberapa gambaran saya sebut juga tentang multiple journeys, dan juga nanti yang terakhir tentang traumatic experience dari si protagonis. Nah, langsung aja ya teman-teman, saya bahas bagaimana sih penggambaran dari Muslim diaspora in Shaila Abdullah Saffron Dreams. So indeed, Saffron Dreams reveal the struggle of the Muslim diaspora living in the US, who is suffering especially after US invasion of Iraq. Indeed, this pain can be seen through the way the narrator describes Ryan's condition a month after his birth, to emphasize how the Muslim diaspora living in the US face difficulties. So Arisa said that, quote, "We finally had a name for all Rabian's trouble, charge, CHARGE, not as in charge ahead and get through it, but a syndrome. So charge is a syndrome that was attached to him and would continue to pose challenges for my child at every stage of his life. CHART was an acronym for multiple birth defects," so quote, unquote. So Ryan's tough life represent how U.S. Muslims have to deal with difficulties to be included as American citizens, including convincing the American journalists that they are not terrorists, as the U.S. media speculates. So the narrator describes this speculation when American reporter interviews Arisa, quote, "How does it feel to be attacked by your people?" unquote. Arisa answered that, quote, "They are not my people." The reporter replies, "They have the same religion though as you." Arisa continues to explain, quote, "No, they don't. They don't have any religion. When you put all your potatoes in sack You should know they all have unique flavors. Some are rotten, some fresh. Just because they are clumped together doesn't mean that they make them all the same, unquote. So indeed, Abdullah uses potatoes to represent the hegemonic generalization about Islam and Muslims, as Arisa stated that the terrorists are not my people and they don't have any religion, to challenge the reporter's limited views of Muslims, which tend to be associated with terrorism in US media. So in doing so, Abdullah Saffron Rims undermines the idea of 9/11 trauma as a US-centric narrative by depicting the protagonist Arisa as a victim of American extremists. So in Abdullah Saffron Rims, the first narrator describes when an American extremist almost kills Arisa because she saw her cultural and religious identity by wearing the hijab or the veil. So when the protagonist is searching for her husband's body at the ground zero, Arisa walks home but a loud voice screams at her, "Stop or I will slice you." So this voice comes from one of 4 white American extremists who attacked Arisa underground. The first narrator describes how the man intimidates and questions her, quote, "What is the good in you?" The blonde guy suddenly moved in and grabbed my chin, cupping it in his palm roughly. "You race of murderers, how can you live with yourself?" He jerked his hand from my chin. I felt the rising ridge where his nail had scratched me, unquote. So Arisa describes her nightmare experience, quote, "The knife to my throat this time, so close it each where it rested. If I lean toward it, I might bleed to death," unquote. So indeed, the knife, which represents threat and violence, can function to emphasize how the Muslim diaspora in the US lives under the risk to be violated and killed because of anti-Muslim racism. The white Americans are depicted as racialists, as they assume the protagonists and Muslims are abusers and killers, although the men are the ones who are attacking Arisa. In this sense, the text show how white Americans are frequently portrayed in the media as a victim of 9/11, also act as victimizers by attacking an innocent Muslim woman like Arisa. So additionally, Arisa is depicted as questioning the rightness of the American extremists to attack a Muslim woman by using a loud voice. The narrator describes when the extremists attack Arisa, quote, "Next, he moved the knife down to my long black jacket. Where is your God now? Do you think he is watching?" End quote. So the narrator illuminates how Arisa encouraged herself to reply, quote, "You are a maroon. I taunted my heart void of fear. My religion doesn't preach terror. They are using it as a crutch to fulfill their objectives, but you will never see that," unquote. So here Arisa is depicted as a veiled woman with a loud voice who has the power to articulate her own opinion to defend her faith and identity. So this hijab and the loud voice highlighted to challenge the reductionist views of fair Muslim women as generally being misrepresented as voiceless and oppressed in Orientalist discourses. In fact, throughout this text, the fair woman is independent. The fair woman is depicted as independent and courageous woman, not only able to protect herself, but also to defend her own culture and identity. By describing Arisa as valiant Muslim woman who is brave enough to challenge the man's invalid accusation of Islam, this text both undermines reductionist views of Muslim women in Orientalism and question the idea of 9/11 trauma as US-centric narratives. So indeed, to question 9/11 trauma as US-centric narratives, the protagonist is rendered as facing several traumatic experiences since he was young. To illustrate this painful experience, the narrator described the result of being attacked by the extremists. Arisa has to accept that her son, Ryan, is a disabled child. In the hospital, the narrator speaks to herself, quote, I first found out about Ryan's health problems, heart defect, breathing abnormalities, some vision impairment. Was there anything normal with my child? Unquote. So indeed, the heart defect is a symbol of the broken heart of U.S. Muslim diaspora who have a dream and love to live in the U.S. to improve their educated economic developments. But after the invasion of Iraq, this dream has changed, become a nightmare, as Muslim diaspora is often associated with the idea of terrorism. So the breathing abnormalities can represent the difficult breathing and the tough life of being a U.S. Muslim who is struggling to negotiate his or her identity as both American and Muslim descent. And finally, the vision impairment is a symbol of U.S. partial vision toward U.S. Muslims who are suffer from U.S. surveillance and interrogation, especially in the public place and U.S. airport. Thus, to challenge the prejudice and discrimination toward U.S. Muslim, the first narrator continuously describes Arisa's difficult life, quote, our lives were dictated by specialist appointments, check-up, surgical consult, tests, early intervention session, punctuated by frequent feeding therapies, as nearly every part of Ryan was explored, was probed, refined, fixed, and was adjusted, unquote. So here Arisa and Ryan's life is depicted as being controlled by arrangement and activities, observation, which prevent them taking control over their own life and desire. They are also studied, explored, and corrected that represent how U.S. officers in public space often observe U.S. Muslim or Muslim diaspora. So all these activities have treated the Muslim diaspora as an object of investigation and interrogation. As a result, U.S. Muslims remain passive and become the target of U.S. surveillance and U.S. imperialism, which links to global neoliberalism and capitalism. So in this sense, Abdullah's text highlights what it means as being a U.S. Muslim who is invisible and disabled, represented by Ryan, who is struggling to survive and protect his fragile body, which has suffered from U.S. examination and observation. Thus, this depiction also reflects the vulnerability of the Muslim diaspora, as their identity is frequently controlled, investigated, and monitored in both U.S. media and Orientalist discourses. So I think that's all. We have to end this part of 4, and the next video we will discuss last part or part 5 discussion, focusing on the traumatic experience by the protagonist Arisa. So please stay tuned. If you have any question, please comment below and please like and subscribe. Thank you so much. See you the next, the last part of this video. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.